It's time to wrap up Sunday evening with 45 minutes of live side split stretching. We're doing this every single day to practice consistency, to build a little bit of community, and to hopefully make a whole bunch of progress in our side splits together. Because consistency plus hanging out with people that make the suffering a little bit less miserable is fun. Cool. All right, let's get right into the warm up. We're going to do three warm up exercises. The first one is hip cars. Hip cars are all about moving your hip through its full range of motion using your own muscles' powers. And they look a little bit like this. We're going to start with a high knee. Lift that knee as high as you can. We're going to open up that hip directly to the side and keep that knee high. Then we're going to rotate the leg so that you get it at least horizontal first. And then we're going to keep going. Rotate, 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 rotate. Bring the ankle up as high as you can, and then bring the leg back and down. Flex the hamstrings, flex the glutes. Feel that stretch in the hip flexor. And that is one rep. We're going to do 10 on the left side, 10 on the right side, and then we're going to go and reverse it. Let's do 10 on the left first. High knee, open, ankle up, down and back. One, ankle, open up, ankle up, down and back. Two, open up, ankle up, down and back. Three, open up, ankle up, down and back. Four, open up, ankle up, down and back. Five, open up, ankle up, down and back. Five, open, ankle, down. Six, open, ankle, down. Seven, open, ankle, down. Eight, open, ankle, down. Nine, open, ankle, down. 10. Whew. Bonus one. You love it. All right, that is hip cars going forward on the left side. Now we're going to go and do them on the right side. Let's go. High knee, open, ankle, back. High knee, open, ankle, back. I think it's 3. Open, ankle, back. Actually, this is 3. Open, ankle, back. 4. Open, ankle, back. 5. Open, ankle, back. 6. Open, ankle, back. 7. Open, ankle, back. 8. We're almost done. Open, ankle, back. 9. Open, ankle, back. And 10. Oh, that is the hip cars going forward. Hope your hips are feeling a little bit looser, feeling a little bit more mobile. Maybe you've discovered some new things about your legs. I don't think prior to working on hip cars, I've ever done anything like this, rotating that ankle up, way up, high. Whew. All right, let's go in reverse. We're going to hit all of the same main positions, but going in reverse is a little bit confusing sometimes, so let's talk it through real quick. We're going to start by bringing the leg back, flex the hamstrings, flex the glutes, stretch out that hip flexor in the front. Try your best to stay up straight. This is where I am the absolute worst in this whole entire thing, so if it doesn't look like I'm doing very much, that is because my hip flexors are very tight from sitting. Okay, from here, we're going to lift that leg up directly to the side. And I want you to feel like you're a total badass. You go whoosh. Got a couple of kicks in there. From here, we're gonna get to horizontal first, and then we're gonna go ankle up. We're gonna do the opposite. We're gonna ankle down. All right. So open and then ankle up, ankle down, and knee. Once you got your knee to the front, I want you to keep that knee as high as you can hold it, and then we are done with one rep. We're gonna do 10 of these. All right. Let's go. 10 of these on each leg. So not 10, but 20. Let's go. Back. Flex the hamstrings, flex the glutes, pull that knee back, lift, ankle up, ankle down, knee. That's 1. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee, back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. That's 3. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee, back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. 5, 6, 7, back, side, ankle up, ankle down, 8, back, side, ankle up, ankle down, 9, last one, back, side, ankle up, ankle down, 10. Whew. Those are hip curls going backwards on the left side. We had one last leg to do. Let's go. Bring that leg back, flex the hamstrings, flex the glutes, pull that leg behind you, bring that knee back. Try to stand up straight, lift the leg directly up to the side, get horizontal first. Add in a little whoosh if you'd like, and keep on rotating that ankle up. Bring the ankle up, ankle up, ankle up, ankle up, and all the way down. Whew. Finally, finish by lifting that knee high and bring it across. That's rep number 1. Let's go. We got 9 more. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee, ooh, back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. That's 3. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee, back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee, back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. That's 5. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. 6. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. 7. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. Oh, if you're tired, you can take a quick rest break. Whew. Let's go. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee, back, side, ankle up, ankle down. 10. That is hip cars going forwards, going backwards. We have finished the hip cars part of the warm-up. If your hips are a little bit tired, go ahead and give them a little bit of a massage. And we're going to move right on into warm-up exercise number 2. If you're just joining and you have no idea what we're doing, just wiggling our legs in space, we do 45 minutes of live side split stretching every single day to practice consistency, to build a little bit of community. I'm here trying to bring good vibes to the internet while we stretch, while we move, and I hope you bring good vibes into the chat, hang out and support each other, and hopefully that combination of a good time plus a lot of consistency and stretching makes it so that we all make a whole bunch of progress in our side split goals. That is the dream, and that is why we're here. Hit follow, hit subscribe, keep coming back if that is of interest, and I'll see you for the rest of the show, and then I'll see you tomorrow. Cool? Cool. Let's go. The second warm-up exercise is called the elephant walk. We are getting into this L shape. We're trying to fold at the hips, pointing the belly button down into the ground. And if you're stuck a little bit higher up because your hamstrings are tight, that is absolutely okay. It is part of the process. But I do want you to try to pull the belly button down towards the ground. Your hamstrings are going to tighten up. Your glutes, maybe at the very bottoms, are going to get a little tingly. Maybe your calves or toes are feeling a little bit tingly. And that is absolutely normal. The tingly sensation is often called nerve flossing. So if you're going to get off and go Google and research what this crazy guy is doing, that tingling sensation is called nerve flossing or nerve stretching. We're going to hang out here for a little bit. You don't have to move. This is still the warm-up. We're just trying to get the hamstrings to chill out and relax all on their own for a little bit. And then we're going to move and force them to get a little bit stretched. Cool? All right. One last breath here. Whew. Now I'm going to bend one knee, straighten out the other leg. And then we're going to switch, bend the other knee, straighten out the other leg. Bend and straighten. Bend and straighten. Bend and straighten. Keep on trying to bring the belly button down. The whole time that you're doing this, you're going to feel a lot of tension, maybe a lot of weirdness in your hamstrings, maybe going all the way up into the bottom of your butt. You're like, whoa, what is this? What is all this sensation? Your hamstrings, for one, are made of 3 different muscles. I don't know if you knew that. And then one of them is called a bicep. What a bicep means is one end is separated into 2 pieces, basically. So it's like a slingshot. And that means just in the back of your leg, you got 4 muscles running from the back of your knee, or just below the back of your knee, up into your pelvis, up into your booty cheeks. And we're making all those things stretched out, and then we're making them move while they're stretched out. So if that's uncomfortable, that should make sense now. Yeah, a lot of stuff
just shifting around in the back of your leg. And okay, that's it. We're almost done here. I hope you've noticed that your belly button is staying low, that you're folding deeper and deeper into the stretch as you move. Maybe your hamstrings are still feeling a little bit weird, your calves are still feeling a little bit weird, your toes are still feeling a little bit tingly, but those are all working together and helping you get a little bit more flexible. Whew. Shake out the legs. Come on up out of that position. Do a little wiggle. Flop around. Hamstrings. The bane of modern society. All we do is sit all day, and the hamstrings, they don't like that. So we are here trying to reclaim a little bit of hamstring mobility. Whew. Okay, that is the elephant walk. We're gonna get back into that same position that we're just in, and we're gonna add a little bit of thoracic rotation. Thoracic rotation is all about rotating the middle chunk of your back. So what we're gonna do is get back into that hips width apart position. We're gonna bend one knee, we're gonna straighten the other. We're gonna reach our left hand across to the straightened leg, in this case my right leg. We're gonna push against the ankle to help rotate the chest. Extend the right arm into the air behind us. Look at those fingers so your neck is also rotating. And reach back behind. Whew. That is half a rep. We got another half. Let's go other side. Take a second to breathe or exhale when you reach the end that you can reach. And you might get just a little bit further to. Oh man, that's two, I think. Keep going. 3. If you hold your breath when you're doing this whole thing, it'll be a little bit more difficult to reach far behind you. If you get to that end point, the furthest you feel like you can reach, and then you exhale, you can get a tiny bit more. All right, this is number 5, and we are done with those. I hope your spine is feeling a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more loose, because that's all we're doing for those. I'm going to come in and check the chat real quick, and then we're going to move on into warm-up exercise number 3. Over here on YouTube, I'm Rand Scotch says, hello, hip mobility exercises. Yes, absolutely. I think the thoracic rotation we just did is pretty much the only thing that is for the back and maybe a little bit of the shoulder and shoulder blades. Everything else is hip mobility. That is what we are doing. Okay, I'm going to scroll down real quick on TikTok and see if I have missed any chat. Che is back. Hello, hello. Got a whole bunch of people in here. Travel Darcy says hello. Evan sends in celebratory emojis. Hey, Evan, welcome back. I think Evan was at this morning's live and is now back for this afternoon's live. So thank you for practicing super consistency, and let's keep it rolling. Nikki says, I'm good. That is, I accidentally invited somebody to join the live. I did it again. I hope that does not become accepted and get into a problem. Okay. She says, good, you're good. I don't know what I did. What did I apologize for? Oh, Leona Foreman says, or asks, what if I twist too far and have a back and chest ache? If you have twisted too far in the thoracic rotation and you have a chest and back ache, you have really strong arms. Typically, you don't twist that far because your back's natural tension will stop you long before you're able to hurt yourself. But if you have a chest and back ache, you should probably keep doing just very slight, much reduced range of motion, gentler movement until you figure out where the majority of the pain is coming from. Or alternatively, you can just rest and stop right now, because there's two possible-ish things. I don't know if you do this. If you watch some of those YouTube videos where people are getting like back cracking massage thingies right from the chiropractor, sometimes when you start doing the twist, the first time that you do it, the first time you've ever done it, something is gonna realign in your back a little bit, and that will hurt and be crazy. Maybe you got one of those moments. But if you have otherwise chest and back pain, then you should probably take a break and go chill out for a little bit and not do those thoracic rotations. Um, Moving forward, I don't think you should completely stop doing thoracic rotations, because you need a little bit of movement. The more you don't move, the more likely it'll just become a weaker and weaker and weaker part of your whole body. But for now, you should probably stop. Cool? Okay, where we at? What did we just finish? We just did hip cars and elephant walks. So we're going to move on into our third warm-up exercise. It is the Cossack switch. I'm Ryan Scotch. I am probably not available to train for a PT because I'm not a PT. Yeah. All right. Let's get into the Cossack switch. The Cossack switch looks a little bit like this. We are dropping down into one leg and squishing kind of low. This is roughly the goal. It's not perfect. It's not necessarily the best position that you can get into, but what we care about is that this hip is squishing down, the knee and the ankle, everything is squishing. You're getting it all compact. We're basically stretching for a little bit. And while we hang out here, I'll talk about what good form is for the actual switching part of the Cossack switches. On this leg, we're basically doing a side split. The heels are down, the toes are up, and the knees are pointing up. This is super important because that forces your hip to rotate, and by hip I mean your leg bone, your thigh bone, to rotate within the pelvis and do this thing where your leg bone does not smash into your hip bone. And that is what we want, because that helps us do some side splits. From my midpoint of the body over, we're basically already in a side split position. All right, we've hung out here, squished down on this side for quite a bit. Let's go squish the other side. You can put your hands down, shift your weight to the other side, and try to do the same on the other side. Squish, 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 squish. If you are squished and you find your heel is coming up off the ground, for now, that is absolutely a-okay, no worries. When we do the actual exercises in a little bit, I want you to try your best to keep your ankles down on the ground. All right. If you want, you can start practicing with your ankles down on the ground, but you'll probably come too far back and start falling backwards on your butt. And that is why your heels are coming up. So from here, once again, your heels are down, your toes are up, and your knees are up. We're spending a little bit of time here in this squished position, getting our hips used to being compressed, and then I'm going to demonstrate 2 or 3 different variations of the Cossack switches. You can pick which one you like to do, which one feels more comfortable. You can adjust as you go, and then we'll do 10 together. All right. So like I said, I want you to put your heels down first and try to keep your heels down throughout the majority of the thing. If that means you have to come up a little bit higher in order to get your heels down, that is absolutely a-okay. From here, I want you to bring your hips over to the other side. And once you come to the other side, I want you to try to squish back down, get compact, and have that ankle get stretched. Heels down as low as you can get. Part of the reason why we stretched to begin with was so that we can get down into the squish position a little bit more comfortably. All right. You can do this with your hands down so that you don't need as much strength or balance. And then sit back into that stretched out position at the bottom. You can come up into a quarter squat, come across, and then sink into that bottom position. If your knees aren't able to handle that movement, you can come up into a full squat, then come down and hang out deep on the other side. But the goal is to get into something that looks a little bit like this, trying to keep your body a little bit more upright and go from side to side. That's it. That is everything. I think I've done 4 or 5 reps. So I hope you have a couple of good examples. I'm going to keep on changing up as I go through the 10. Let's go. Here's number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and last one, 10. Whew, those are the, my gosh, those are the Cossack switches. And we have just worked on those hips. We've worked on this position right here that is basically a side split. And we squished down, gotten real compact, worked on that hip mobility, the ability to squish deep into a squatting position. You can experiment and see if your deep squat is feeling a little bit better after that. Oh, and that is the end of our warm up. We just did 10 reps. Should be a little bit tiring. Your heart rate should be up a little bit. Your blood should be pumping. You should be a little bit warmer because that is the point of the warm up. And we are ready for the 5 stretches that we do. If you're just joining in and you have no idea what we're doing other than Cossack switches, we do 45 minutes of live side split stretching every single day to practice consistency, to build a little community, and hopefully with enough struggling on the floor together and people to do it with, we get a lot more flexible and work on building up those side splits. If you care about hip mobility, not so much the side splits, that's okay, you're in the right place still, because side splits are like an extreme form of hip mobility and you got to build up to it. So hip mobility, side splits, that's what we do. Hit follow, hit subscribe if that is the stuff that you want to do more of and you want a little bit more consistency in your life, because we do this every single day at 9 p.m. Eastern. And on weekends, we also have a 9 a.m. show every day. Cool. All right. Whew. It's time to get in some stretches. The first stretch that we're going to do is the hamstring stretch. I recommend you grab a cushion because we're going to drop down onto one knee and we're going to set up our hamstring stretch a little like this. We're going to fold forward, get that hamstring tightening up, and it's going to look basically like this. I like this version because you can put your hands down, you can shift, you can balance, you can keep yourself feeling stable when you are in a really intense deep stretch. Okay, go grab that cushion, that shoe, that pillow, whatever you need for padding your knee, and I will scroll through the chat real quick just to see if there's anything else that I am missing. Nikki Nicole says, well, I haven't mastered the Asian squat yet. That is a very challenging move that I'm sure majority of the world has not mastered. And I bet you that most of the young people in Asia don't have to do very much Asian squatting either, and probably that is a dying skill everywhere, and everybody is going to have to train for it at some point. Let's see. Leona Foreman went too far, too fast. Ah, yes, that's a big deal. I try to do that pretty slow. Oh, I accidentally sent another invite out. I really am bad about this. If you're struggling with a little bit of pain from the thoracic rotations right now, that is really tough because your back is so sensitive and has a lot of structures around it. Definitely go ahead and take a break. In general, for everybody else, when we do get into the thoracic rotations, I do intentionally tell you to reach further and further every single rep, but I hope that you take this moment to learn that everything we do, we got to do in a little bit of moderation. I don't know. It's hard to say. For most people, it should be okay for you to rotate your spine because that's what the spine is designed to do. But if it's been a while since you've done very much stuff like this, then this is on me. Maybe I should have said something more like, if you haven't rotated in a while, if you don't check your blind spot when you drive, do things that require your back to rotate, then we can build up a little bit slower and we can take our time with this. I try to keep the energy up, and so I keep the pacing up of the show, and that probably didn't help you maintain a reasonable speed for you. So I feel bad for running the show so fast and so intensely. But I hope you take some time. You take some time to recover, and I'll see you again soon when you're feeling a little bit better. Cool. All right. I'm gonna keep on scrolling. Chez says, "Be safe, y'all. Go slowly is always best." Lulu says hello. AE Marie says hello. Travel with Rexy says hi. Okay. I think that is the majority of the chat. Travel with Lexi says baby steps, a little every day. All right. I'm gonna down the water break, and let's get into some hamstring stretches. Whew. Cushion down, drop down, one knee, and we're pointing our hips forward, our shoulders forward, our head forward, everything forward, including the leg that we are going to stretch. From here, in the past, I've talked about pulling the leg into the hip socket and then folding down. You can try that. If you like it, go for it. If you don't like it, I'm not going to stop you. Try not to super extend and lengthen during the stretch like we're doing our front split, because now you're just adding a lot of complexity and it makes it harder to focus on the hamstrings, which is what we care about right now. From here, leg is extended in front. Bring the belly button down to the thigh, and we're going to hang out here for a little bit. Your calves might be tight. Your hamstrings are obviously tight and tingly. You might feel a little bit of sensation in your toes. Those are all relatively normal. We're going to hang out here for just a second longer, and then we're going to do a big inhale, slow exhale, and with that exhale, we're going to fold down, bring the belly button down. It's not about your head. It's not about your shoulders. We're not turning into a little ball. We're trying to bring the belly button down. It might even help to look up slightly and away to help keep that back straight. Cool? All right. From here, let's go. Inhale. Exhale. And fold. Really bring that belly button down. Feel the stretch coming sort of from your butt. It's not really your butt, but the hamstrings tie in just below your butt into your pelvis. And that is why you feel the sensation pulling from over there. All right, we're going to take some normal breaths. I hope you've been breathing. We're going to do one more inhale, exhale. Inhale. Exhale. From here, we are folding. And it's time. That's it. 30 seconds. Let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Remember, this is about the belly button coming down. 3, 2, 1, 0. That is the hamstring stretch. We got one side done. We got one more to go. Let's do it. Knee down. Extend the leg in front. Shoulders forward. Hips forward. Fold. Then bring that belly button down. Feel the hamstrings tightening up. Everything getting a little less comfortable. Your hamstrings maybe are screaming at you, and that's absolutely a-okay. We're going to take one big inhale. Exhale and fold. Take some normal breaths. Relax for a second. Do one more. Again, try to keep the low back and the back relatively straight. Inhale. Exhale. And fold. Once you're as deep as you can get for the moment, let's go. 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27. Remember, do not hold your breath. Breathe. 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15. If your knees are starting to get a little bit uncomfortable, if they're hurting, from the pressure. You can give them a slight bend and you keep on trying to bring your chest down so that your chest is touching the leg. Then from there, after you've hit both of those points, you can try to straighten out your leg again so that the straightened part, the pressure part, comes in after you've gotten the maximum amount of flexibility you can get out of your hip. Whew. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Come on out of that stretch. Whew. If you guys don't know, your hamstrings kind of start here just below and behind the knee, and they go up that leg and they connect into the bottom of your pelvis. The bottom of your pelvis you might be more familiar with as the sits bones. Those bones you feel in the ground when you're sitting there, and the first thing that gets tired when you're sitting on your butt on something that's hard, those are the sits bones. So when you are in a seated position and your legs are straight out in front of you, this causes the bottom of your pelvis to come up and behind you versus straight down, right? And that is basically where all of that hamstring stretch comes from. It's that moving of the pelvis and shifting it back and up that causes this to get nice and long and cause our hamstrings to cry in pain. Whew. That's a little fun fact about the hamstrings. And we are ready to move on into stretch number 2, the butterfly. We don't need the cushion anymore. I'm going to toss it, get rid of it. I'm going to just gently place it here because I have made the mistake of tossing it before. I recommend you get in front of a wall. And in front of this wall, preferably underneath and not smashing your head into things above you, we want to sit our butts down. So have your hips, your shoulder, your head up against the wall, keeping your back nice and straight, realizing that, good posture is a lot different from what I am usually doing. That is okay-ish. Let's keep going. Bring the feet in together, pull them in towards your groin, and get into this position. You might notice that your knees are up and they can't go down. That is because the butterfly is all about the groin stretch, and we need to stretch out that groin. So in this position, I want you to try to use your muscles. I always want you to strengthen your muscles as you do most of these exercises. So what muscles are you strengthening? Right here, we got the outer thighs and we got the glutes. We're going to contract those muscles and pull the knees down into the ground. The closer our knees are to the ground, the deeper the stretch, and the more likely you're using the right muscles. It takes a little bit to figure out which muscles are doing what. So if you don't get it on the first try, that is absolutely a-okay. From here, with our back against the wall, we're going to take our hands, we're going to apply a little bit of pressure. When we do this, the back of our heads, the back of our shoulders are going to feel a lot of pressure pushing into the wall. That is basically the wall keeping us from falling backwards, right? So we can focus all of our energy, all of our attention on pushing these knees down into the ground. Breathe. And that's it. Let's go. 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27. I have reached the maximum I can reach with this wall and this table here. So I'm going to scoot. 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16. Breathe. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right. Let the hands go first. Your legs might feel a little bit stuck. Give them a little shake, a little wobble, a little lift, and then you can start flapping the wings of this butterfly so that your muscles waken back up and we can get on into stretch number 3. Stretch number 3 is the standing pancake, and this may be the most difficult of all of the stretches, short of the side splits. So second most difficult exercise of them all. Standing pancake looks a little bit like this. We're going to open up our legs decently wide, and it doesn't have to be crazy. We're not trying to get all the way out right now. If you're already having pain in your hips, stop, come back in a little bit, fold forward at the hips, point that belly button down towards the ground, and ta-da, this is the starting position of the standing pancake. If it just looks like we're trying to touch our toes, you are absolutely right. That is how we start. We like the standing pancake because gravity is pulling down your head, your shoulders, your whole upper body towards the ground. And that makes it a little bit easier to get into the pancake stretch. Gravity is helping us out. From here, once you're folded forward, you can decide if you want to widen your stance and get into something that resembles more of a side split. That is up to you. The deeper you get into this position, the more intense you'll feel the contractions on your inner thighs, and the harder it will be to stay balanced for the whole entire stretch. So you get to choose your challenge. From here, from the side, I want you to focus on bringing the belly button down towards the ground. I want you to focus on folding forward and bring your head in between your legs. I say head, but I don't mean it in that I want you to turn into a ball and then roll into, I don't know, some sort of contortionist there. I want you to fold at the hips, and I want your face to get closer to the floor slowly over time. And as you get super, 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 super deep, then you can transition and do a slightly different variation where your head does not smash into the ground. Cool? Until you get that flexible, we're going to do the standing variation of the pancake. Let's go. Once again, we're folding forward. Once we're folded, we can open up the legs as far as you want, work those muscles on the inside. We're bringing the belly button down, and if that brings down our shoulders and our head, fine. And then if we extend our arms, we can make everything a lot more difficult, a lot more painful. So that is up to you. Let's go. 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. That is the standing pancake, and we struggled through a whole bunch of things together. One of them being choosing your depth in how far you have your legs apart. The deeper you are, the weaker these muscles tend to be, and that just applies for everything. It's just like your bicep. If you try to curl 100 pounds here, it would be really hard with your arm fully extended, but if you were just going from here to here, it might be a little bit easier. It might be almost possible. From this side split-ish, pancake-ish position, the deeper you are into the stretch, the more intense that contraction will feel. And unfortunately, we have our whole entire body weight pulling down into those muscles, so you're going to have to contract them. If that was a little bit challenging, moving forward, you can rest your butt against the wall a little bit, give yourself a little bit of support, reduce some of that weight that you're bringing down into the ground, and that will make the stretch a little bit easier because you don't have to contract as hard. Alternatively, if these muscles are very weak for you, you can sit down in a chair and just focus on folding forward. We, like I said earlier, want to make sure that we are strengthening muscles whenever possible, because the stronger you are, the easier it will be to control the positions that we get into, and we want to be able to control flexibility so we can go do cool stuff. All right? Whew. That's the spiel about the adductors. We're done with the third stretch. Let's move on into the fourth stretch. It's a little bit more chill. We can relax. I believe 12 hours ago we did the pigeon, so I think it's time for some figure four. If you are a regular, you can do whatever you want, but I'm going to explain the pigeon. Yeah, let's do it. The pigeon stretch and the figure four ends up looking a little bit like this. We bring the ankle across the body, and we're lifting and keeping that ankle close to that belly button right here. We're folding towards it, and we're feeling the stretch out here in the side of the glute, in the side of the hips. That doesn't matter if you're doing the pigeon, which looks more like this, Or if you're laying down on your back and doing the figure four, that is what we are stretching. If you have never done the pigeon before, then this is great because that is what I'm doing. I'm explaining the pigeon in a little bit more detail. We are bring this leg across the body, right? And we are aiming sort of for the midpoint between the knee and the ankle, trying to bring the midpoint of our chest towards that position on the leg. If you have crazy long legs, then maybe that will be slightly different. You don't have to go nearly as deep towards the center. But if you got average proportions, then that is what I want you to aim for. Knees, sorry, midpoint of the chest to midpoint between your knees and your ankles. And then we're just gonna fold down. All right. I want you to keep the hips low when you do this because we want to feel the stretch out here in the hip. If you've watched some yoga videos, you'll know that a lot of pigeon stretches are a little bit more advanced than this. This leg tends to be extended out and behind us. From here, you get a little bit of a stretch here in the hip flexor. And while that is very nice, it's not very important for our purposes in the side splits. It is helpful for the front splits. If you can't get into a fully extended leg position, it's totally fine to have the knees bent. Totally fine, because the focus is that other hip, all right? But if you want a little bit of help to figure out how to get that knee a little bit straightened, because you do care about making sure you get the best possible exercise out of everything that you're doing, then I recommend you elevate that front leg a little bit. I'm using yoga blocks, and honestly, I don't know if I'd recommend it because they're a little bit floppy and wiggly, and we have to spend time adjusting our weight to make it work. But what I'm demonstrating is if you elevate your hips a little bit, then you can give yourself space to turn that leg, stick it right beneath you, and get back into this pigeon position. It actually makes it a little bit more intense for the front leg as well as reducing the pressure on the back leg. So give it a try. Cool? All right. That is the pigeon and a slight variation. If you're struggling with doing this on the floor, we can do a slightly different variation. This is not exactly the best way to get into it, but you can elevate that front leg so high that you end up doing something that looks like this. Cool? Standing pigeon. And I feel the stretch super intensely in that hip, so it works this hip just as well and reduces the demand on this back leg unless you really want to stick that leg out behind you. Okay, all right. Yeah. That is a whole bunch of information about pigeons. I've demonstrated on this leg. I feel like it's gotten out of a stretch, so I'm going to start over on the other side. Let's get down into a pigeon. Again, the ankle is coming across the body. Extend the leg back if you can. Keep the hips low to the ground and fold forward. Bring the midpoint of your chest towards the midpoint between your knee and your ankle. And we're going to hang out here for 30 seconds. Let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15. If suddenly it feels like the stretch got easier, check where your ankles are. If your ankles are tucked against your groin, that is an easier version of the stretch. Push the ankle away, push it towards your face, and it will suddenly get a lot harder. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. Remember, you're supposed to feel it out here in the side of the hip and the side of the glute. So make sure that is where you're feeling the stretch. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh, come on out of that pigeon. We got one last pigeon, and then we're going to move right on into side splits. What we've been waiting for, what we've been working towards, and what we've been doing all these stretches to pre-stretch muscles for. Once again, get into pigeon. Halfway point between the knee and the ankle. Aim that middle of your chest 2 and Keep the hips low as you fold forward. If you need to, elevate the front leg so you can extend the back leg behind you. And breathe. Let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25. If you have tight hamstrings, or if you were at this morning's workout and you're doing today's workout, maybe your hamstrings are, or like you're doing tonight's workout, your hamstrings maybe are a little bit sensitive from all of the hamstring work, and you might feel those as well. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16. Remember to breathe. Don't hold your breath. 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Whew. Oh, that is the pigeon stretch. And we are ready. We're ready for some side splits. So let's take a quick break, drink some water, shake out hips and joints and massage things that need to be loosened up because we are getting the side splits in like 30 seconds. In the meantime, I'm also going to take a water break. I'm going to crawl over to the camera because that is where the giant jug of water is. And I'm going to grab a sip of water and read the chat. Jeff says, I like doing this exercise standing, a standing pigeon. Great. That's awesome. I feel like it is way more intense on the hip when you do the standing version of the standing pigeon, the hip being this part that's coming up. It also forces your ankle to be very pushed away from your face. So it is a great variation. There's definitely way less of a stretch on that back leg, depending on how you're angling the rest of your body. This particular table, for my height, is not that great a fit for trying to get the back leg to do anything. So basically I'm standing here and just lifting the leg up. And that is absolutely okay because that works perfectly for our goals of working on that outer side hip area. Whew. Fihome says, hello, hello, hello. Okay. It's been a while since I've come back to the chat, and it's also been a while since I've said we're doing 45 minutes of live side split stretch. I'm pretty sure we're already at like 47 minutes, so we're a little bit behind. But I try my best to do a lot of explaining, especially on the weekends, because a lot of new people come in. So I want you to feel like you can just jump right in and get into the exercises. Cool? Where am I going with this? We do 45-ish minutes, usually about an hour of live side split stretching every single day at 9 p.m. Eastern to practice a little bit of consistency, to build some community. I try to bring good vibes to the internet. I hope you bring good vibes into the chat, support each other because we are working on this really hard, painful, full of suffering on the floor goal. And my goal, my hope is that when we combine consistency, when we combine some entertainment, some community, that we can all make a whole bunch of progress in our hip mobility, in our side splits together. So if that sounds fun, if that sounds like something you'd like to work on this New Year's, then hit follow, hit subscribe, keep coming back. We are live every single day at 9 p.m. Eastern on the weekends. So today we also had a 9 a.m. Eastern show, and you already missed it, so that's not relevant. So 9 p.m. Eastern, moving forward, that is the time, and I hope to see you again soon. All right, I think it's time to get into some side splits. Whew. Let's go. The first thing we're gonna do is talk about safety. I want you to have something behind you so that if you are in this position, you start losing your balance, you're like, whoa, oh no, what's happening? You start falling backwards. You got something to fall against, to fall into without hurting yourself. Because if your butt fell all the way to the ground, all the way to the floor, it would hurt a lot and make you want to stop. And I don't want you to feel enough pain that you go, whoa, I don't want to be here anymore. This is too much. My goal is to make sure that you feel safe, you feel secure. And for everybody, that's going to be a little bit different. If you need to lay out cushions all over the floor in order to feel a little bit more comfortable about your stretching situation, about your stretching space, go ahead, grab those cushions, grab the foam, grab whatever it is that you need to feel a little bit more comfortable about the stretch. Why is comfort so important? It is because when you are afraid, when you're anxious, when you feel like you're going to fall and smash your butt into a million pieces, it's going to make you tense. And that tension does not help you relax in the side split. So when we are working on side splits, when we are working on stretching, we want to reduce anxiety, we want to reduce tension, and we want to relax as much as we can. If that means you got to make a whole bunch of ways to feel safe, that is what you should absolutely do. And for everybody, it's going to be a little bit different. But at the very minimum, I recommend that you have something to fall back on to protect your butt from smashing into the ground. As you get more and more flexible and your butt gets deeper and deeper and closer to the ground, it will be less important. But having something to rest your butt against when we do a side split will be super helpful for you to experiment with new positions. And I'll show you a little bit of that as we do the side splits in a little bit. So, what do I recommend? Obviously, I got this desk with some kind of sharp corners, but the main thing that I recommend is the wall. If you stand 8 to 12 inches in front of the wall, you can always just pop your butt back, have your butt supported by the wall, and when you are in a deeper side split looking-ish position, you start falling, you're like, what's going on? If you fall backwards, if you let one shoulder hit first, take that blow for you, then everything else will not suffer nearly as much. So that is the dream. Keep starting up a little bit in front of a wall so that you can use that for support. Cool? Okay. Ugh. Let's get into some side splits. From here, we are opening up the legs. We're getting to a deep-ish spot. We've done a whole bunch of standing pancake. We've done a whole bunch of stuff. So your adductors should be pretty loose. You should be able to get a little bit deeper than when we first started. However, I don't want your hips to hurt, right? So if you have less mobility at the moment, come on up. Come hang out in somewhere like this. Fold forward when you can. Point your belly button down towards the ground. And from here, you should be able to widen your stance a little bit because we are already in a position where the hip bones and the thigh bones don't smash into each other. We'll talk about that more in a sec. I want you to do a little bit of what looks like a push-up. I want you to have a lot of weight in your arms because we're trying to reduce the weight in the legs right now so that we can externally rotate them. External rotation is heels are down, toes are up, and knees are pointing up. Again, heels are down, toes are up, knees are pointing up. That is external leg rotation. We're rotating the leg to the outside of the body, towards the outside of the body. And when we do this, the leg bone, the thigh bone, gets out of the way of some of the structure, some of the bone in your hips, so that you can actually get into a side split looking position. Once you have done this, and this is the most important part of the whole entire thing, heels down, toes up, knees up, we're ready to get on into some more side splits. Cool? From here, we had some of that body weight forward in front of us in our arms. We're gonna start shifting that weight back into our hips. Walk your hands back towards your hips and have the weight sinking into your hips, getting a little bit heavier, taking that stretch to another level of intensity. And when you feel like you're about done, you can't move anymore, we're gonna add a little bit of a wiggle from side to side to see if we can break that friction holding your feet back. If it's not friction, you don't have to keep wiggling, but if it is friction, you'll have just found out. Oh, from here, we're good. Let's go. 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24. Right now, I'm sitting up really straight, and that is because I have the table leg behind me. That's what my arms, that's what my arms are doing. They're holding on to that table leg to give me a little bit of support and letting me sit up really, really, really straight instead of leaning forward onto my hands. You can potentially experiment with this against the wall, but if you're brand new to the show and you haven't done that much stretching, try to hold back today and not take it too far just yet. I talk so much I forgot to count. 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Walk your hands forward. Pull the knees in underneath you and try your best to chill for a second. What we just did was put a whole bunch of tension, whole bunch of pressure into our legs, into our hips,
trying to get into a side splitty, pancake-y, straddle-y position. And your legs are probably very tired and they're very stressed out. So what we're going to do is hang out here for a second while those muscles get a little bit of a break. And then we're going to get up and we're going to shake out the legs. We're going to try and force them to relax. What that looks like, so come on, back into standing when you can, something like this. Imagine you just got out of the pool, your feet are a little bit wet, your legs are soaking, you're just trying to get the water off of your legs. That is what we're doing. We're shaking the water off. We're going to do this for 5 to 10 seconds. I want you to feel your muscles flopping forward. I want you to be loose. I want you to be wiggly and jiggly and, I don't know, feel like a pot of noodles that just finished boiling that you're pulling out and you're like, ugh. That is what we want. That kind of sounds like vomiting. Maybe not that sound effect in the future. Yeah. Okay. Shake out the legs, wiggle, get loose. And once you've done that a bit, we're pretty much ready to move on. But maybe, just maybe, you got a little bit of tightness in the hips from doing those side splits because we spent a lot of time here. These muscles are contracting. Shaking out the legs doesn't do that much for the hips. So let's add in a little bit more for specifically the hips. I want you to pop into a little bit of a squat. I want you to try and keep everything stable except for this one leg. I want you to come onto the balls of the feet, and I want you to try to rotate your knee in and out. All of the movement is coming here in this hip socket, right, where the thigh bone is connecting into the hips, and nothing else is really moving. We're just trying to get these muscles loosened up a little bit worked, and the narrower your stance, the easier it will be. So let's do the other side. In, out, in, out, in, out. I'm exaggerating so that you can see exactly what's happening. You don't really have to be that intense with it. If you're standing up a little bit straighter and you're just shaking out your leg like this, that's totally fine. We're just trying to be very intentional about loosening up the hips. And when I exaggerate, taking it real slow, trying to help you identify what you're going to work on. Cool? All right. With that, I think it's time for us to get into side split number 2. Once again, get in front of whatever it is that you are prepared to fall onto. 8 to 12 inches in front of it is good. If you want to go a little bit further, that is also fine. Open up the legs. Make sure there's no pain in the hips. Not yet, at least. Fold forward. And now, if you want, you can get into a wider stance. Put your hands down like you're going to do a little bit of a push-up. We are just putting weight into our hands so it's not in our legs to make it a little bit easier on ourselves when we externally rotate. External rotation is when the heels are down, the toes are up, and the knees are pointing up. This is the most important part of the whole thing, so make sure you don't miss it. Heels are down, toes are up, knees are up. From here, I'm going to maybe automatically slip into a slightly deeper position because our hips are in the right position and the weight is slowly building as we bring our arms back towards the hips. All that weight that we put over there into our arms, we're getting out of that and putting it right back into our hips. Whew. And that is bringing us down deeper into this stretch. Breathe, and finally do a little wiggle from side to side. See if you can break the friction holding your feet back from slipping out just a little bit deeper. Once you're here, once you can't get any further, let's go. 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15. It might be helpful if you are not quite as deep to have something to support your hands on to give you a little bit more leverage. Yoga blocks tend to be quite soft and flexy, so maybe that won't be as helpful as, say, a chair in front of you to lean against. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8,
7, 6, 5. We're almost done. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Walk your hands forward. Pull the legs in. When you are pulling them in, try not to have much pressure on the legs so that you're kind of just lifting them in slowly. And chill, breathe, relax. Man, side splits. If your hips are tired, if your legs are tired, it is 100% normal. We're going to try and shake out that tension in just a second. So come on up into a standing position and let's start the shake. We are flicking water off of our legs, off of our arms. We're trying to force our body to get loose. Shake it out. Shake, 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 shake. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Flop, 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 flop. A lot of the movement, especially if you're just starting out doing the shake, is going to come from the knee. And as you do this, you might learn to relax your ankle, and your ankle will start flopping around all over the place, and that will help your calves to be very relaxed. And as you get more comfortable with the idea of shaking out your leg, you can start adding in things that look vaguely like this, like the knee is sort of wiggling from side to side, and that will help shake everything from side to side, including your quads. All right? Shake out the other leg. Shake, 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 shake. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. You don't have to do everything exactly perfect like me. The goal is just to shake and be loose. I'm going to suggest different ways of shaking, different angles of shaking, so you get different muscles to get loose. But this is your own shake. You can do whatever you want. Shake, 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 shake. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Flop, 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 flop. And once your legs are feeling more or less normal, let's make sure the hips get a little bit of love. We're going to pop into that mini squat. We're going to rotate that leg in and out and in and out and in and out. Everything is coming from the hip socket, this hip joint right here. The legs are moving, but it's not because the angle of the leg is changing. It's just spinning on the ball of the feet because the hip right here is moving. Let's do the other side. In, out, in, out, in, out. You don't have to hit your maximum range of motion each time. We're just trying to loosen up the muscles. If you want to, it's probably really good that you do your maximum range of motion on the in and out. You just don't have to if you don't want to. And to extrapolate that a little bit further, you can rotate that leg in the hip socket when you're shaking out that leg. All right, it's possible. It's just a little bit more confusing. It's a little bit harder, and that's why we break it down into little pieces so that you can try and experiment before you figure it out and master it for your own hips. Let's go. That is stretch number 2 and the leg shaky part after it. Let's get into side split number 3. Side split number 3. Once again, let's stand in front of whatever you're going to fall back on and gracefully recline on if you have a issue. And let's open up those legs. Breathe. Again, no pain in the hips. We are folding forward, putting the hands down. You can get deeper into the stretch if you want now. And I want you to put that weight into the arms like a push-up so that there's less weight in your legs for external leg rotation. If you are feeling strong and you're feeling like a badass, you can absolutely externally rotate without putting a whole bunch of weight into your arms. You can experiment and figure out what that fine point is for you. And once your legs are rotated, your heels are down, your toes are up, your knees are pointing up on both sides. Your heels are down, your toes are up, your knees are pointing up. Then we can walk our hands back, put the weight back towards our hips, and wiggle a little bit from side to side so you can get a little bit deeper in that stretch. And that's it. That's it. That's the third and final side split stretch. You can experiment with things a little bit this round because you have warmed up, because you've done a whole bunch of rounds of side splits already. If you want, you can lean your butt against that wall, whatever that is supporting you. Try to stand up a little bit straighter. Try to figure out if you can get comfortable in slightly different positions. This is your time because you got the bonus flexibility from having stretched so much already today. Play around. All right. And with that, it's time for our 30 seconds. Let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Lean forward. Pull your knees in. If your legs are tired, your hips are tired, that is absolutely 100% totally normal. We spent a lot of time telling you to experiment, and then we stuck 30 seconds of side splits at the tail end of that. So not only did we spend way more time in the side splits, you were playing around and trying to figure out new things. So that is really good reason for your hips to be extra tired. Take a break, relax, breathe, and when you can, come back into standing. We're going to shake out the legs one more time. Relieve yourself of that tension. Shake, 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 flop, 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 shake, 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 shake. Wiggle, release, floppy, floppy. All right, other side. Shake, 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 shake. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. We want to be like a fresh pot of al dente, maybe a little past al dente spaghetti. We want to go and have the muscles relax and wiggle and shake. I don't know why you would be shaking out your spaghetti like this, but maybe you're trying to cool it off, get all the water, moisture off of your spaghetti before you dump it into the plate. I don't know. Don't worry about the analogy. Just flop and shake and wiggle. And as your legs get more relaxed, try the slightly more advanced shaking and the wiggling. Right now, there's absolutely no weight on this leg that's moving. It's just the toe on the ground as a little anchor point, so I can shake out that hip. The hip is shaking, the quads are flopping around, and we're trying to relax the upper half of the leg a little bit. All right. Same thing on the other side. Shake, 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 shake. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Flop, 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 flop. You can add that in to the leg shake. Instead of focusing on flicking the knee out, you can sort of do something that looks like this. Let these muscles still relax underneath you, but you can focus on just that hip movement. You can take it to the extreme end and basically set yourself up for a whole bunch of pigeons. All right. Pigeon stretch looks like this, just for reference. What is he talking about? Setting up for pigeons. Doing something a little bit like that helps loosen up these muscles in the hip as well, because it's exactly what the pigeon stretch is. And with that, I have filled your brain with a lot of different variations of shaking out and flopping around your legs. So I think it's about time we do one last round of joint checks, let you go on your way and do whatever you gotta do for the rest of the day. Joint checks. We're gonna do some slow and gentle hip circles. And I like hip circles because, like I said, everything is happening from the hips, and they are probably tired and they're probably a little bit sore, they're a little bit sensitive. So we're gonna take an assessment of what is tight. I usually have some tightness and some tenderness right here on either side of the hips, so I like to spend some extra time there. If you take this really seriously and you really stick your hips back, you're basically also doing a hamstring stretch, right? And if your hamstrings are feeling tight and tense, now you know. All right, we've done some hip circles. We're gonna do 2 or 3 quick high knees. If everything feels normal, you can just move on. If it's not normal, you'll know immediately. We're gonna pop into a little bit of a squat here, fold at the hips. We're gonna put some pressure on the knees, put some pressure on those ankles, put some pressure on those toes. We're gonna do a little bit of a calf raise. If everything is working well and coordinated together and you can come back up into a squat and everything feels normal, then you're probably good. And you're probably good to go do whatever else you gotta do. Thank you everybody for coming in and practicing consistency. If it's your first time, welcome, welcome. I try my best to explain a whole bunch of stuff so you can jump right into the exercise and don't feel left out. If that didn't feel like it was the case, let me know and I will try to be a little bit more thorough with my explanations. for everybody else, thank you for coming back and practicing consistency with me today. That is it for the weekend. We have finished 4 shows: 9 a.m., 9 p.m., 9 a.m., 9 p.m. And this is the final show for the weekend. But don't worry, you're not missing out. We do 9 p.m. shows every single day of the week outside of the weekends, just the weekends that we do double shows. And we do this every day to practice consistency, to build a little bit of community. And hopefully, that combination of good vibes, good energy, plus doing the work will help us make a whole bunch of progress towards our side split goals, towards hip mobility. If that sounds fun, if that sounds awesome, if you enjoyed the workout so far and the good vibes, make sure to hit subscribe, hit follow, do all those cool things, keep coming back, schedule it into your calendar if you need to. We are live every day at 9 p.m. Eastern, and I hope to see you again soon. And with that spiel over, I'm going to come back to the phone, check the chat, and spend some time here because I have been really far away for like the whole week. I feel like I haven't been spending much time in the chat while the live is going. So I'm going to try and make it up on the tail end with the end of the lives. Let's see what we got. Queen RRRRR on YouTube says, I'm trying to get the front splits, so this exercise is great for me. Lovely. Oh, okay. So you're trying to get the front splits. When did we talk about that? Were we doing the pigeon stretch? So the back leg, you were just trying to work on the flexibility? Good. That makes a lot of sense. And it also makes a lot of sense that people who are working on these side splits are also working on the front splits. Paletta Lee says, passing by to say I love your classes, but I can't stay or practice because it's 23:30. So it's 11:30 p.m. in Sao Paulo. You got to sleep. I get it. I understand. The timing can't be perfect for everybody. It's hard. I know. But as an apology, I don't know. I'm not apologizing. As a fun fact, we have a YouTube video that's about 15 minutes long, and it goes through pretty much all of the exercises that we are doing. Unfortunately, yes, YouTube. Thank you, Che. Where am I going with this? On YouTube, we have a long form video. It's about 15 minutes, and it is just straight, no talking, powering through every single move that we do in the live. There's no explanation, really. There's no like detail, but you can crank through that and get all of the exercises from there, and you can pretend that I am doing the live with you. I think it's a lot less fun. It wasn't very fun to film either because I was going, okay, what do I do now? Did I count? Am I counting right? Is this right? What number am I up to? Because I'm, talking to myself in my head for 15 minutes. That's crazy. Anyways, YouTube video has all of the same exercises that we just did. And if you're ever short on time, for example, and you just need to crank something out, perhaps it is 5 in the morning and you don't want your kids to wake up or something like that, that is an absolutely silent video. You don't need any sound for, and you can still follow along without all the extra talking that I do. Cool? All right. Let's see what else we got. Sarah says, Che reading minds. Absolutely. Amanda's coming in from Miami. Welcome, Amanda. Oh, we got 2 people coming in from Miami. Hello, Kat. All right, I'm going to scroll up and try and get to some old chats because I feel bad missing those old messages. Ganowski says, I was already here this morning just saying hi. Thank you for checking in and making sure that attendance was taken. Ganowski, I appreciate it. Red flags are us. Follow the live creator. Oof, scary. Okay, Shrop says, just flop it. Yes, just flop it. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. Nike might not like that. I'm mostly joking. Nike's slogan is just do it, and there's a check mark by the message. Chess says, yes, that would be cool. All right, I'm going to scroll up and see what she's saying. It's going to be cool. Sarah says, yes, cushion mats are so nice. Especially on my knees. We did that. Just flop, lol. That should be on a t-shirt. Yes. I love just flop. Is that the t-shirt I want to be known for, though? Other people got great slogans. Just flop sounds, I don't know. Maybe I'll grow into it. Gaeta says, great job, everyone. Thank you for the encouraging good vibes. Kaji says, they hurt more than the stretch. Ooh, is it the heels? Yes, that is what is up. Sarah says, I use a 1-inch thick yoga mat for these, so I have more cushion and grip. That is a great recommendation. Yes, I have been traveling for as long as this version of the live TikTok and YouTube has been going. So I don't have any of the regular equipment that I might have if I were at home. And one of those things has been a 3/4 inch thick, kind of a tougher cushion. So it's not really super soft, but it is a bit of cushioning. If you have used sort of the Pilates mat, the really squishy ones that are pretty thick at a commercial gym or maybe in a class, those are quite squishy. And I'm always a little bit nervous that because the material is quite stretchy, you might take those heels and rip a little hole out of the mat. I have done that once with a different type of foam mat, and that was not pleasant. So if the mat is looking quite squishy, quite fragile, maybe be careful what you do with the heels. Maybe you have a mat on each foot and they're not connected in the middle. It was because I was standing in the middle of a mat trying to get both heels padded that I sort of just ripped a little hole where my heels were, because that's where all the force of the whole entire body is stacked up on the mat. Um, it also helps if you have pretty comfortable sort of flip flops. Flip flops themselves might not be good, but sandals, if you have sort of shower flops, something with like a little bit of, I don't know why I call them shower flops because that makes no sense. If you have a little bit more of a band of like foam or rubber or plastic or whatever it is that wraps around the majority of your foot so that it doesn't slip around while you're resting your heels on it, that helps. If you want, I guess technically, if you just had some flip flops and you just laid them down right where your legs are going to be, and you just plopped your flip flops on, you plopped your heels on the flip flops. That's a little bit of foam that you can just slide around as you need to. But putting them on and actually having them dangle in between your toes is a little bit more challenging because as you're shifting around, they'll be like rotating and flipping and flopping all over the place. Cool. I hope that was useful. I'm gonna scroll down to the bottom of the chat to see if that was useful. Sarah says, haha, okay, cool. Scrolling back up, scrolling back up, scrolling back up. The heels are definitely an issue, and it takes some time to build up the tolerance. I don't know how long it took, but I'm pretty sure up until at least 7 months ago, I still had foam under the feet and under the heels. So that means that I had been using some sort of cushioning for about 6 months, 7 months, and that's exactly how long it took. So maybe it'll get better, maybe it won't. I think though, however, there's one other thing when you're doing the putting weight on your heels. If you are a little bit higher up, and I'm gonna lean against this, if your heels are like really at the pointy bone end of the heel right here, then that is gonna hurt more. When you can get a little bit further past it, when you're not resting on that part and you get a little bit deeper and it starts resting here on the sort of the back of the heel and not like in this part of the heel, the corner of the heel, it gets a lot more comfortable and the pressure is wildly reduced when that happens. Yeah. So those are some facts about heels. some life experience about how painful the heels can be. I totally get it. I have somehow just gotten past that stage and immediately I have completely forgotten about it. But foam for your heels is great. Jeff Hall says, this man is a great athlete. Thank you. That's so nice. I hope you're talking about me. Trevor Darksey says, 9 a.m. Eastern is still happening, but just on the weekends. Yes, that is correct. The 9 a.m. time is the weekends. Jeff Hall enjoys doing the standing pigeon, and I think that means we've gotten back to the chats that I have already seen. So, scrolling back down, making sure I didn't miss anything while I was scrolling fast. They hurt more than the stretch. Nope, that is about the heels. Boom, 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 boom. Just flop it. Okay. I think I am back all the way down. Kedji says, okay, thank you for the suggestions. I'm going to use the flip-flop method. Great. Awesome. Yeah, I think most people have an abundance of flip-flops, and that's basically 100% foam, right? And it's like just this much foam. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to check YouTube one more time. Astro says, hello, my friend. Hello, Astro. Welcome back. Wow, I feel so low to the ground. I'm gonna move these cameras. I'm just trying to sit down and be comfortable. Okay. I think with that, we are all wrapped up with the chat, all wrapped up with the live. I hope you enjoyed the exercises. I hope you feel a little bit more relaxed, I guess, because you got that movement in. So the stiffness is gone, but maybe your muscles are still a little bit tired because we just stretched, and stretching is hard. If you thought stretching was going to be perfectly easy and chill, this is not that. We are trying to strengthen our muscles whenever we move, and we're trying to lengthen them so that we have badass control over all the cool things that flexible people can do. Yeah, and with that, I think we've run 80 minutes. We've done 80 minutes ish of live side split stretching. We do something like this every single day. I aim for 45 minutes most of the time, and I land roughly 60 minutes most of the time. And we do this every day to practice consistency, to build a little bit of community, to suffer together, make it a little bit more fun to do the side splits, to come in and actually do the work. Unfortunately, you got to do the work. And hopefully, that combination is all the right things you need to make a whole bunch more progress in your side splits. Help you and me. I am not at the side splits yet. I'm still working on it. I'm getting pretty close, but I'm still not there. So, helping you and me make a whole bunch of progress in our side splits. I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed the good vibes. I try to bring good energy into the live. I hope you bring good energy into the chat like Sarah is doing right now. Sarah says, smiley face, so helpful. Thank you again, and everyone. Lovely. Thank you, Sarah. Okay, that's it. That's it for me. Go enjoy the rest of your evenings. Do what you got to do. Have a great week, and I hope to see you in like 23 hours tomorrow. Cool. All right, closing out the chat. Goodbye, everybody. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Same here on YouTube. Closing. If you ever wonder why I'm flicking the screen over to the side, is because my button